What is down, everybody? It is your main course, Little Pancake, and today we are doing part 2 of the U.S. President's tier list. Now, if you missed part 1, go back and watch it. I'm rating presidents not based on how they did as presidents, but based on whether or not I would trust them with my children. So, we did the first 21 presidents, and we have 23 left now to do in this part. So, we gotta get right into it. Let's go. Okay, first up is Benjamin Harrison. Again, great facial hair. Nice, full beard. Looks like a pretty cool dude. I mean, he looks like he'd be fairly trustworthy, I would say. He looks kind of depressed, to be honest. I mean, there's not a whole lot of happiness in this man's eyes. He's gonna be another one that probably just sits there and looks at the kids and scares them, which is pretty decent. I'll throw a B tier, honestly. I feel like he would do fairly well. Next up, we have Grover Cleveland. You may not know this, but as you know, I'm a U.S. president's genius. They wanted me to teach at Harvard, but I declined. So this guy was actually the first ever, or the only president to serve a 4-year term, not get elected, and then serve the term after that. So he served 4 years, then wasn't president, and then served 4 more years. I know, yeah, totally makes sense. I'd be a great teacher. Wonderful mustache. Wonderful mustache. I'm kind of jealous. I mean, I feel like he would do just fine, honestly. I'm throwing B tier, because I feel like he would do pretty good. I don't think he would make cookies or anything, but I still feel like he'd do pretty decent. Next, we have William McKinley. This guy is very intense looking. So, I mean, the scenario that I'm thinking of in my head with him, with my children, is that one of my kids, because they've been raised by me, so they would not be well behaved, would probably speak out of turn, right? And he just backhand them right across the nose. And that's not exactly cool. So, we're going to throw him C tier. Not quite D tier. I mean, a good smack around isn't necessarily always bad. Okie dokie, next up we have good old Teddy Roosevelt. And, I mean, the teddy bear is named after him. I feel like Mr. Roosevelt here would probably take my kids fishing or hunting and teach them all about the outdoors and just do an amazing job. He's going to be another S tier. I feel like, I drop my kids off with him. There is a possibility that they're going to die. There's a possibility that he's going to take them hiking and one of them's going to fall off a mountain because they're my children and they're clumsy and have no coordination. So that's always a possibility. Honestly, natural selection, it works. Okay, now, William Howard Taft here. This guy. I'm pretty sure he was the fattest president, and I'm pretty sure that's the only thing he's known for. But fat people eat a lot. So he's probably got food for my children, so they won't starve to death. So that gets him pretty well. So that's a A tier. If my kids aren't going to starve to death, that's good in my book, Okay, next up we have Woodrow Wilson. This guy does not look very nice. Yeah, I feel like Mr. Wilson here would not do a very good job. He looks very mean. He's going to go D tier, because he just does not look like he is happy at all. He just doesn't seem like a stand-up guy, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now, Warren G. Harding. This guy looks intense, right? He looks like he would yell at them. Be like, hey, Mr. Harding, can I go to the bathroom? Yes! You may! Mr. Harding, can I have a cookie from the cookie jar? No! Wait until after dinner! Sir, yes, sir. So, that's pretty cool, honestly. So C tier. I feel like that's not a bad thing. Okie dokie. Next up, Calvin Coolidge. This guy looks like he's about 23. Aged very well, apparently. He's got some kind of skin treatment that I want him to pass down to my children, so they can tell me, so I can stop having acne. But yeah, a solid A tier. I feel like he would be pretty fun, honestly, because he's younger, or at least he looks younger. So he hasn't seen everything in life. He hasn't seen the deep, dark depths of the United States that ruin lives. Next up, Herbert Hoover. Looks like a greaseball. I mean, he's got his hair slicked back, but he looks like he would try to extort your children for labor and then laugh about it when you're like, hey man, why are my kids outside shoveling gravel? They need a little bit of hard work. It's like she's 7. Child labor is not always cool. I mean, it can be useful. But we're gonna throw him C tier. You know, child labor is cool once you hit the age of like 9. I'm cool with child labor once they're like 9, and as long as it's not in like a extremely dangerous setting. Wait until they're 12 for that. Okay, now Franklin D. Roosevelt, the other Roosevelt. He does not look as cool as the first Roosevelt, if we're being honest. I mean, look at this guy. Nah, he's not gonna take your kid on a hike. He's gonna read a book about how war changes a man. I mean, which, you know, isn't terrible. But that's gonna be another C tier probably. I just don't really feel like he really, you know, yeah, you know what I mean? Okay, next up, Harry Truman. This dude looks like a nice old man. I mean, look at this picture right here. Look, doesn't he look like a nice old man? He looks like a guy you'd see in the library. I don't know why, that's what I thought of. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw him A tier. I don't think he would do anything fun with your kid. I feel like he might read him a book, because, you know, he's in the library already, so he's probably reading books. I feel like he'd probably read a book and then just be like, yeah, and that, kids, is how you make a double-wide trailer. Any questions? You know what I'm saying? Next up, Dwight D. Eisenhower. There he is. Look at Spiffy. He looks kind of like a turtle. I don't know why he gives off turtle vibes. I'll throw him B tier. I don't think it would be amazing. I don't think it would be terrible. Kind of neutral. Next up, we have good old JFK. Here's a picture of him. Doesn't he look happy? He looks happy. Not many presidents look happy. I mean, they're running the U.S. Honestly, I'm gonna throw Kennedy in S tier. I feel like he'd just take great care of my kids. You know, I feel like he would make them cookies. If someone makes you cookies, you'll love them forever. As long as the cookies aren't poison. Okay, next up, Lyndon B. Johnson. This guy looks kind of rough. He looks like a villain in a movie, so D tier. I'm not trusting him, okay? I'm not trusting him. I'm like, you might do some things that aren't exactly awesome. Okay, and next up we have Richard Nixon. Now, if I remember my history correctly, I think Forrest Gump caught this man doing some bad things. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's F tier, buddy. Dude is not exactly trustworthy. Alright, Gerald Ford. This guy looks just scary. This guy looks like, hey kid, I got some candy in my van. You want some? You know, that's what he looks like. F tier. Yeah. I don't trust that. I don't trust the candy in the van, you know. Next up, Jimmy Carter. He looks rough in this picture. And here's the reason why I wouldn't trust this man with my children. He probably would die. And I don't want my kids seeing a guy die, you know? So, C tier. I mean D tier. D tier. Because if he doesn't die, he'd be alright, you know. But if he did die, that would be pretty bad. And there's probably like a 78% chance of him dying. Okay, next up we got Ronald Reagan. Ronaldo Reagan. Looks like a pretty happy dude, honestly. I mean, he's got a little smirk, little smile. So we're gonna throw good old Reagan probably A tier, honestly. I feel like he'd do pretty good, you know? I feel like he's not gonna cause any problems. He might not make them cookies. He'd probably tell them old stories, though. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now, George Bush. The first George Bush. No. Just judging from this picture right here, he looks, interesting. Not F tier, but I'm gonna throw him D tier. Alright, and now we have, Bill Clinton. You know, I don't know that I would trust my children with Bill Clinton. I can't put my finger on why. I feel like something happened to him that would make me not trust him, but I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, that's a F tier. He would probably not do well. Okay, now we have the second George Bush, which I'm gonna put next to the first George Bush. Like father, like son, you know. And now we have Obama. Not sure what his last name is, but I feel like he'd do alright. You know, I feel like he was probably S tier, honestly. I feel like he would make my kids cookies. I'm not sure whether he's a good chef. I don't know if he gives off making good cookies, but you know, it's the thought that counts. And now, this man right here, Donald Trump. I don't know, man. See, because I don't think Trump would, like, do anything bad to my kids directly. You know, they'd be my kids, so I feel like they would probably make fun of him. It really depends on whether or not he gets mad at them for making fun of him. You know, they'd be like, haha, orange man, ooh, it's a Oompa Loompa. You know, because my children don't have many brain cells. You know, it's really a toss-up as to whether he like enjoys being made fun of and jokes with them, or whether he just gets tired of it and throws them in a cellar. Which honestly, a cellar doesn't sound too bad for children. I don't think I'm gonna put him F tier, but I am gonna put him D tier. I also don't think he would make cookies. And again, no political opinions involved here. Okay, politics. I left politics in Nebraska. All right, so that's it, folks. We've got, A through B tier is people that I would trust my children with. Like, I don't think anything would happen to my children if I left them with someone that's in the A through B tier. Okay, or C through D, something might happen. Okay, it's not 100%, but it's definitely a possibility that something not too epic poggers would happen. So, and then F tier, yeah, something's gonna happen. Those kids ain't coming out the same. Alright, they might go in as boys and girls, they'll come out as men and women, if they come out at all. That's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you liked it. Here's the tier list. What would you do? Would you trust Bill Clinton with your children? Would you not trust JFK? I don't know. Let me know. Put it in the comments, people. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day today, and I will see all of y'all later.